just noticed you can see the toilet in my recording. Every YouTuber has like the best aesthetics in their video, and then me filming, there's just like a freaking toilet.
Yeah, if you want, just like scoot your back monitor a little over so it's like not obvious.
That's actually really smart. See, this is why you go to Berkeley.
Exactly. This is exactly why.
Dude, engineering right here.
There you go.
Bruh.
You can still see it. All right, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome a fun guest today.
Hello.
My friend of 4+ years now. I would like to welcome Radhika. How do you say your last name?
That's fine. We'll just stick with Radhika.
So I think it would be really fun to talk about how we met. You were one of the first friends that I had at Berkeley.
I think you were like definitely one of my first friends in college, so.
We were taking Math 53 with John Steele. And so we didn't meet in the lecture. We met in the discussion section.
Yeah.
And we bonded because our TA was questionable in his teaching methods.
Also because it was 8 a.m. and we were both like dead tired. I remember we both sat in the back and we didn't have the textbook. It was a rough time.
And I think we also talked about how we were really dumb and we signed up for the 8 a.m. discussion. Like there were so many other reasonable time slots, but we signed up for 8 a.m. because we literally had no idea what we were doing.
No. I mean, okay, like here's the thing though. In high school, we have classes at like 7:30, you know? So it's like, oh, 8 a.m. easy, you know? But college is not like that because everything is different because you're in charge of yourself. Having good discipline is a lot harder in college, and we didn't realize that first semester. Although I did keep taking like 8 a.m.s later on, so I don't really know what that says about me.
Well, I just remember that in my last semester, you had one more semester after me, but we both took an 8 a.m. class together. And for that class, the attendance was mandatory. And I think if it wasn't for you being in that class and like texting me every morning, hey, we gotta go to class, I think I might have just never showed up the entire semester. So, you know, I owe my graduation to you.
You're welcome.
This is the reason why I graduated. In that class, I was starting my YouTube videos. And wait, I also want to tell this story really quickly. This video is not even going to be about bioengineering. The last semester, we went to Brewed Awakening, which is this coffee shop on Northside. And we just sat at the back while drinking coffee and talked about how we should have YouTube channels. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. The only difference is you did something about it and I didn't.
That's hilarious. It's not too late. This is your debut. Okay, do you wanna get into the first real question, the real content of this video?
Let's do it.
Tell us. Why did you decide to start studying bioengineering?
That is a good question. So I didn't really know what bioengineering really was, but I knew that I enjoyed biology, chemistry, like all the sciencey things, but I didn't want to be a doctor because that's like a lot, you know, like no thank you, not really going down that route. I like biology, I like fixing and problem solving, and I'm like, hey, bioengineering sounds like, you know, a good thing to do. So you could do like DNA engineering, you could like build medical devices, you know, like there's just like a wide array of things that you could do as a bioengineer. So I'm like, sure, okay.
Yeah, my story wasn't that interesting either. I think I've told the story of why I studied bioengineering like 100 times on this channel already. When you were deciding, did you watch YouTube videos on bioengineering? Because I didn't.
No. Well, okay. No, I did a little bit more research, but not like specifically on bioengineering definition as a whole. It was more like learned about DNA grafting, which is basically combining DNA of two different plants together to form something else. And I was just like, that's, you know, like really cool actually. My main goal was how can I do more of that? And pure biology is kind of hard to go down unless you're trying to do the whole like PhD type thing, which I wasn't sure about. I don't want to commit to that. So the thing about engineering is, you know, bachelor bachelor's or a master's is solid.
Is there a reason why you picked Berkeley to pursue your bioengineering education?
There's multiple reasons. I mean, first of all, like, you know, it's a solid school. You can't really go wrong with Berkeley, but also because it's like pretty close to home, and that was kind of important to me to just be able to go home whenever I want.
I feel like when it comes down to picking colleges, there's two types of people. There's the people who want to get farthest away possible from home, and then there's the people who want to stay close to home.
I'm the second type of person.
What are your feelings on studying bioengineering? After your 4 years, is there anything that you liked about it? Well, hopefully there is something that you liked about it. But is there anything that you did not like about it or wish that you had known before picking the major?
Yeah, I liked that there was a lot of freedom in being able to choose classes and just being able to study a little bit of everything. But at the same time, I wish that there'd been a little bit more structure coming into the program. Like it was a little bit more clear what tracks are available and what like each track actually means. Since I had a clear idea of what I wanted going in, it was fine for me to just be like, oh yeah, like I know I want to do some sort of DNA engineering. So for that, I'm going to need, you know, X, Y, Z. But I could imagine that it's hard for people that are still like trying to explore the field. Like there's not that much information immediately available coming in as a freshman. Like, you know, this is what synthetic and computational means. This is what cell and tissue means. This is what devices means. And this is what you can do with that. But I really like about the program as a whole, not just classes specifically, that there's a lot of opportunity to do research. And I think that that's the most important thing. You can just like reach out to any professors whose work you think is cool and just say like, hey, literally, like, I think your work is cool, you know, I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore, whatever you are. Do you have a position available? And like all the professors that I've talked to at least were really helpful and like actually wanted you to do well. So that was really great about the program.
I think as an undergrad, you're a little bit intimidated by professors, but I mean, they're there because they want to cultivate learners and cultivate people who are passionate about their research. So I totally agree with you.
What I did, I just like started emailing a bunch of bioe professors and grad students. This is like something that they don't tell you, so I'm going to tell you now. Don't just email the professors. Go on their website and look for like grad students, postdocs, and like any of those people. Just find their emails and send them your resume. Tell them why you're interested in their work. Well, who you are, obviously. Don't just send it to the professor, because sometimes the professors have like so many emails that they just, you know, get swamped and they won't respond, which is totally understandable. Don't be like, oh, I emailed like 3 people, so that's good enough. It's not good enough. Email like 20 at least, and then you'll hear back from a couple whenever they get back to you.
Yeah, really good advice. You gotta contact the people lower on the food chain.
Exactly. Okay, the thing is, those people are less likely to be contacted by prospective undergrads. Sorry, that was gross.
So did you pick a concentration? At Berkeley they have 4, right? That I can't remember off the top of my head. But did you actually pick a concentration, or did you just kind of find your niche and then take classes in that area?
So I started off with like picking a concentration. So I did synthetic and computational, and I took a bunch of the classes that were relevant to that. So like some CS classes and like some other math classes that maybe weren't applicable to the other concentrations. Then I just started kind of branching out and trying to see what my interests were. For the most part, I did still stick with the synthetic and computational track. No, you're frozen again.
Let it go, let it go.
Can't hold me back anymore.
Okay, you're back.
If you were to go back to your undergrad, would you major in bioengineering again, or would you pick a different major?
I think so. I think I absolutely would do it again. I had a lot of fun. Like, I was stressed out a lot, which is like, I guess just part of college in general, but the work was really fun. Yeah, what I'm doing now is a good time, and bioengineering as an industry, or biotech as an industry, is doing really well. I had fun. The projects were good. Met cool people. Megan, would you do it again?
Yeah, I think I would definitely do it again. I think what I liked about it was how collaborative it was. The funnest parts was having problem sets in the classes and then meeting all of the people in your class at the library and just struggling together and failing together and being confused together. There's no better feeling than sitting in a library with your group of friends on like a Thursday night and struggling to do a problem set, but then one of us understands it. And then that person goes around and explains it to everyone, and then everyone's like, Oh, we get it now.
Yeah, definitely. I took some programming classes with bioe, and there was some really cool work that we did. I think it was 131. That was the class that you took your final semester, and I took it the semester before that. That class was something else, but we we learned a lot for sure. And just like kind of struggling through that, you know, like all the Python bio packages, and then like using that to draw out the DNA sequences, and just like really not understanding what was going on, and then just like staring at it forever. And then that was a great time.
I think Berkeley is a lot more fun in hindsight than when we're in it.
I think that is true. That is very true. Like when we were going through it, I'm like, how much longer do I need to stare at this before it makes sense?
Would you like to talk about your research and internship experiences?
So I worked at the Duber lab in Berkeley, so it's a metabolic engineering lab, synthetic biology. Basically what that means is we engineer the genome of yeast, bacteria, whatever target organism, and try to optimize for a certain product. So manipulate the genome in order to make more of something that we're interested in. With that, like we got to work with CRISPR, you know, like restriction enzyme stuff, and it was just like, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot to learn, and I was there for I think 2-ish years and kind of jumped around on a bunch of different projects. Learned a bunch of techniques, cloning and whatever. Jennifer Doudna, her lab moved in like next door to ours. It was cool. Like I was like in the presence of a celebrity. That's really where you get the bulk of your exposure with what bioengineering really is. Like in class, you kind of just learn high level stuff or stuff that's been done before, but you're not, now in research, you're like at the forefront. And then with internships, so we were talking about QB3 earlier. So basically what that is, it's a startup accelerator at Berkeley. I applied through there for a bunch of, you know, internships with a bunch of startups that have something to do with Berkeley. Usually that means like one of their founders went there or something like that. And then I talked to some people and then found a company that I really liked, and that's why I work now full time. It's a company called Industrial Microbes in Alameda. Great place to work. People are so smart and so nice. It's just really fun.
Wow, nice. I think some other people in our year also did internships from QB3. Wait, I remember freshman year we went to some alumni dinner or something.
Yeah, why were we invited to that? Oh, I think it was like a professor networking event.
Something like that. I don't even remember what happened. I just remember going there and then nothing happened.
That's what it was. And then the professor at our table just never showed up.
You're right, he didn't show up. Classic.
So then it was just us talking to each other. So just like a normal dinner, I guess.
Yeah.
Man, that was tragic. I like wore like a nice like suit type thing and everything, you know?
Oh my god, that's so... Okay, well, while we're on the topic of your work, I think that's super cool. I didn't even know that you work at Industrial Microbiome.
Industrial Microbes.
Sorry. So you work at
Bruh.
You work at Industrial Microbes. So I think you talked a little bit about what the company does earlier, but would you like to elaborate?
Sure. So our company focuses on climate change, basically, and the way that we do that is we engineer bacteria to consume harmful gases that are, you know, in the environment. We basically use bacteria, engineer it in order to produce sustainable building materials.
That's actually really cool that you work on that, because I think some people have asked me if you can apply bioengineering for environmental applications, because I think what's pretty well known is applying it to the human body, but I think for the environment it's a little bit not as known.
Yes, you can absolutely apply it for environmental change. There's actually a lot of startups in the area if anybody is interested. You could actually just look it up through QB3, because that's where I found these guys, and I'm sure there's like a bunch of other companies that do a lot of similar things. There's sustainable biofuels, sustainable like jet fuels, building materials.
Would you say that what you learned in school prepared you for your current work today?
Some of it. So like for example in chemistry, you know, we learn about acids, bases, molarity, molality. That's all very useful and relevant in my day-to-day. But I think for the most part, what I did at the Duber lab is more directly useful. And that makes sense, right? Because we did cutting edge work there, and then like when you're at a company, you are doing cutting edge work. It's just for industry instead of academia. But like those techniques translate over, and then like thinking scientifically, I think that's that's like the biggest thing, and that you learn from doing projects yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if this is just Berkeley, but I think that the classes at Berkeley are very theoretical, which is really important for developing the mindset of approaching problems. But I think for application purposes, I got all that knowledge from outside of the classroom. So in research or internships.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna quote one of my professors here, Amy Herr. You gotta know what you gotta know, but you don't gotta know it, you know? Like, the theory just tells you about like all the types of stuff that is out there, like the different principles, equations, and whatever. But when you actually go to solve the problem, you don't have to know those equations off the top of your head, but you just have to know that they exist and that they're important. And I think that Berkeley does a really good job in those programs, just like letting you know what the theory is, so that when you do go off and like, you know, make things, it's just like it's just there at the back of your mind.
What would you say is the number one theoretical concept that you remember from Berkeley? Wait, let me see. I'll answer this first. Okay, the first thing when I think of Berkeley bioengineering theoretical class, so you remember Navier Stokes?
Oh no. Oh no.
Bruh. What's kind of funny is that like when you're taking the classes at the time, it feels like Navier Stokes is the most important thing in the world. Like it feels like the whole world is revolving around Navier Stokes, right?
Oh yeah. 100%. Let's just say that you are building some sort of sustainable material. The properties of the material are important, right? And the properties are also Navier-Stokes, is like you're measuring the flow from across and like how long it's going to take, you know, what's the diffusion coefficient, flux, and other physics terms. It's really interesting to be like, oh yeah, I recognize this from that class.
I think you mentioned you're going to go to grad school in the future.
I'm doing my job full-time, and then I'm also doing the master's program part-time. So I'm getting my master's in data science from Berkeley. Biology produces a lot of data, and it's really hard to know what to do with it and like organize it in a meaningful way. And so what I'm kind of hoping is with a data science background, I'll be able to better manipulate the data to give me more useful information.
I hate to be cliche, but there is so much data, and being knowledgeable on how to extract patterns within that data is becoming increasingly more relevant. I was gonna ask you, the last question was, where do you think the field of bioengineering is headed? A very, very open-ended question, and I think bioengineering is a little bit new. Some schools don't even really offer bioengineering, which is kind of interesting. But if I had to predict, you know, because I am such a genie. Wait, do genies predict the future? No, they grant you the future.
Isn't that a crystal ball?
I'm not a crystal ball, but I definitely think that we are moving into an era where bioengineering is going to be a more spoken term in the household. Biology is obviously going to be, you know, very relevant, and engineering and computational methods will be very helpful for understanding biology a lot better. And I think a lot of people are exploring that area a lot more than, say, X amount of years ago, where X is a number.
Yes, correct. I would agree with that. So I think, especially with the pandemic, there's more emphasis placed on bioengineering methods now. And that makes sense. You know, there's like climate change, there's healthcare, there's so many ways to apply this. And this isn't really a thing that people say, but I think that it should be. Like, green is the new black, you know? Like, you're trying to go green now. Clean energy is more in demand, and also personalized healthcare. I think there will be a biotech boom. That's fun to say, a biotech boom.
Biotech boom. Say you were talking to yourself 4 years ago. What would you say?
I would just say, don't hold on to like the ideas that you come in with during college. So like you come in and be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to work on this one problem, or like I'm definitely going to study this one thing. I would say don't do that. Just kind of open yourself to whatever opportunities come your way and just take it and run with it. You'll find that you'll learn a lot more and learn things about yourself that you maybe really didn't know before. You're young, and it's like, just leave it open-ended, you know? You don't have to like fix yourself in something already.
Okay, well, let me do an outro. Oh my god, I hate outros. All right, that is the conclusion of this video. Yeah, well, it was lovely to have Miss Radhika.
Well, this was fun. Thank you, Megan, for having me. Also, please remember to please like and subscribe and comment and ring the notification bell for Megan's channel so that she, you know, has 1 million subscribers and does really well and is happy and whatever. So you should do that.
You probably don't even watch my videos, huh?
I do watch them. Not all of them, but I do watch some of them.
Okay, I know you watch all the ones that don't have bioengineering in the title, huh?
I watched like the computational chemistry, like why you should study that, and then I watched the Met Gala one. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Say like, can you like, comment, and subscribe to Megan's amazing content?
Wait, should I just say like, okay, thanks Megan for having me. This was so much fun. And then bloopers is, really? That's where you're gonna end it? You know, like you can't go wrong with Berkeley. And it's also, yeah, my house is right here, so best of both worlds. Cue Hannah Montana.
Insert clip now. Actually, I can't because then I'm gonna get copyrighted.
Yeah, don't actually do that.
If you put like a very short clip of the song, it won't copyright you.
Well, you can just have, you get the, and then just like end it right there.
You get the best. Alright, moving on.
Meeting has been upgraded. Wow, that's cool.
I know, did you see that? What the heck is that? Oh my god. Apparently our Zoom has been upgraded.
Like I'm just talking and I'm like, suddenly I've upgraded it apparently, and I don't know how that happened.
I know, too bad I can't just upgrade myself without trying.
Guys, this is the part that you can put in. Just take out what I said before. You can leave it in there, it's like kind of funny.
I was being dumb, okay? I'll cut that out. Honestly, half the stupid stuff I say in my videos I just leave anyway for entertainment.